Welcome back in, boys and girls. Hope you're all doing okay. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, I'm Galaxier. I do weekly EVE Online updates. I cover big fights that have gone on. I cover little fights that have gone on. And I cover everything from high set, low set, null set, wormholes, and parchment now as well. Been doing a bit in parchment as well. So welcome to the channel, guys. I hope you're all doing okay. I don't normally do these kind of videos as going through patch notes because I think it can come across a little bit you can't read, so I'm going to explain it to you in a sort of tone, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. But what I am going to do today is look at, sorry, I'll just put my phone on silent because no, it's just going out the hall. It's just going out the hall because I've been having issues with my phone lately, so probably because I do stuff like that. But I'm not going to sit and read through the patch notes for you because no doubt you have probably seen it, which might have sparked your interest with the video. But with the help of a website called HoboLeaks, we have got more in-depth information on the ships that are coming, the modules that are coming, what you are going to require to do these sites in its current state. Now this will be the state that is coming up for the test, which I believe is tomorrow night or tomorrow evening sort of thing. Hang on. Getting an early taste. Here we are. So 17 to 1900 UTC on the 23rd of October. So that is tomorrow. I will be on to have a look at in depth of that. But I believe based on this website, HoboLeaks, it's a mirror comparing the differences between Singularity server and the live server. So Singularity is the test server, which we have all been invited to on here to go and test out the current state of it. So there is a disclaimer in here that some of it may change based on feedback that they get from the players, which I hope they do. If something is ridiculous, I do hope that they change it. So if you had a look at these patch notes, you will see that there is a lot of nice shiny images and some basic sort of images on what it will look like when you're actually hitting these rocks. Now the good thing is, as I said earlier on in this year, they are trying to give miners a little bit of love. They have done with certain sites, have expanded sites, have added new anomalies, mining anomalies in. They've also now added in a new ship called the Pioneer, and then there's also a Tech 2 version, which we'll have a look at in a second. There's also an exploration command ship. I don't know enough about exploration to comment on such a thing, but we will have a very brief look on what is said on the website. Those are the very basic what do you call it, stats, bonuses that this thing will have. It can fit a covert ops cloak device. That's pretty cool actually, because I suppose exploration ship. Yeah, so one of my main concerns with this is not so much you're going to be able to abyssal roll your mining lasers or your mining crystals, I don't know yet, but you're going to be able to get critical hits, getting more yield. My main focus or concern is... Oh, also the 2D map is coming, which is nice. My main concern... Oh, and carriers are getting a little bit of love. They're going to get a bit of a reskin, a bit of a zhuzh, so to speak. So that's what they look like now, and that's what they're going to look like. Or is that just both of them in the same... It's hard to tell from that sort of angle, but it looks like these two are the new models. My bad. It looks like these are the new models. That looks cool. They look like they're getting a bit of a glow up on the carriers, which is nice. And I think looks like they're adding some more rolls to them. I don't know yet. But what we are going to focus on is this website, because there's a lot more information on there. That's what I was on about, mining mutaplasmids. So, induced risk reward. Industries can let you push your yield on. Okay, it doesn't say, but there's a new UI coming for there, which means the survey scanner is no longer going to be active. It's going to be sort of like it's going to be a passive. You'll have to have it, but it'll tell you what sort of asteroid. So as you can see there, ISK, dense Veldspar, 6000 ISK M3. So you'll be able to actively pick out which one is going to be the best to mine for the highest if you're mining purely for ISK. So we're going to move on from here because, again, I will link. You will be able to see the patch notes on your Explorer just by on your browser just by opening the Eve launcher and clicking on the Catalyst update. You'll be able to look at it there. So I'm not really going to dive all the way through the patch notes because you can read. So what oh, that is bright, God. So if we come on to this is comparing Tranquility build to Singularity build. Again, this is also subject to change. So this is seeing what the current state of it is, how it looks, and there's also obviously going to be changes if there's important feedback, and there's also going to be some things that might not be fully up to date right now. But we've got the Pioneer, which is the Destroyer. Now, this is a step up from the Venture, because it used to go your normal mining ship, like some people back in the day used to mine in Badgers, in Mammoths, in Iteron Mark 5s, just to sit on it and go AFK for about an hour to fill the hold or whatever it was. So, and then after you got into the Venture, the natural progression was from Ventures to Barges, which is quite a step, and also you do need a Mega to fly a mining barge. So they've bridged the gap between the Venture and the barge, and Exhumers, obviously. So you will be able to fly the Pioneer on Alpha, they've said in the patch notes, which is interesting. So you might be able, I mean, you can only obviously have one Alpha account up at one time, unless you're doing some really weird, stupid tactics, which are still viable, but I'm not going to go into that because I think it might be possibly considered an exploit, and you should never do those. So with a Pioneer, this is the bridge between Venture and the barge. So it's got a better mining yield, a better mining hold than the Venture, of course, and it's going to be available from blueprints, which you can build, and it doesn't give all the details on those, but as you can scroll down through here, you've got the Odysseus, which is the which it gives you the full, you know, full little description of it, which is nice. But this is more to look at the modules and stuff that can go on with them. So there's expedition command bursts, which the only thing I'm going to say about the Odysseus, which I think is really cool, it might, depending on cost, how much tank you can fit onto it, you might see these in wormhole fleets, because I wouldn't say big null block fleets because they just get volleyed off the field. But if you can fit a hell of a tank on these things, these might be these might possibly be viable in wormhole fleets, because you can have command bursts that allows for faster combat probing of fleets, faster or scan strength as well. So you won't have to do multiple cycles to find a fleet. You'll be able to just get it in one ping and warp. So there's some really nice implications to that. And there's also some new implants, sorry, the mind links for these expedition charges. But again, I don't want to go too much into that. So there is also the Pioneer consortium issue. So this is a faction version of the mining destroyer, and basically the law is, you know, the consortium issue was supposed to be scrapped, and then they did it in secret and released it anyway, because why not? There's also a Venture consortium issue, which we don't have stats on, but we'll be able to find those tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to update you later in the week with how these ships are actually looking. We can get a good look at them on the test server. There's the Outrider, which it looks like it's a T2 Pioneer, I think it is. Yes, it is a T2 Pioneer. High-end sister ship to the Pioneer. Yes, it was. So that is a Tech 2 version of the Pioneer. So that will probably, I imagine for the Tech 2 Pioneer, you'll probably need to be Omega. But it'll be interesting to see just how quickly the Outrider replaces the Prospect for ninja huffing. So if you're going into a wormhole undetected and you want to, and you want to get in, mine the gas and get out quickly, the yield and the ore hold on these might possibly or probably will be superior to the Prospect. Whether or not you can fit a covert ops cloak on it, don't know yet, but if it does, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting idea with that. So as I said, a lot of this Some of it is speculative. Some of it is not really relevant. So like all these bits here, not really relevant. One thing the next one I want to come to is these fractures. So these are the fractures that are going to mine, and then you can turn the ore, which is prismaticite. I think that is prismaticite. It looks like prismaticite to me. That's what I'm going to call it anyway. So there's also a new skill, erratic ore processing. And there's also that is so you can reprocess prismaticite. That is a difficult one to say for me, I'm sorry. And that one gives you a 2% bonus to reprocessing yield per level. Obviously stacks all level 5 will give you an extra 10%. And so this is the ores, and it doesn't give too much information. It just gives ID numbers and stuff like that. But these are going to appear in space. These rifts, I think they want to call them, are going to appear in space. Now, to actually anchor these, to actually be able to mine these sites, you need to take a mobile phase anchor. To this, anchor it a bit like a Concorde beacon from a Dreadnought, a Carrier, Titan, Super, whatever. So you're going to need an industrial command ship. So depending on where you are going to either be using the Porpoise, the Orca, or the Rorqual. I'm probably going to give these a go in my Rorqual just to see how it is. So once activated, connected to industrial command ship, this deployed device resonates with the closest phased asteroid. This causes the phased out asteroids to phase into harmony with surrounding space-time, causing them to become phased in. While phased in, the phased asteroid can be mined with far greater efficiency. So with far greater efficiency, does that mean you'll be able to mine these phased out asteroids, or does that mean you'll be able to mine them just with a very low efficiency? I'd like to think you'd need one of these anchors, and by the reading this, it looks like you're going to need an anchor to actually mine them. But we haven't got to my concern yet about all of this. But so there's a blueprint for the anchor, which what's showing the results. Base price, is that 140 million? 100. Oh, that's the blueprint. Whoops. Oh shit. So this is all the stats for it at the minute. It's got it doesn't have too much health. It has 30,000 shields, 1,000 structure hit points. It doesn't have a lot of health. It does. So instead of hitting a command ship, a roaming gang can come in. It depends if you have to scan them, get signatures down, but if they'll just combat scan you, come and pop that, and then you can then that's it. You can't mine the asteroids anymore. Just a new way to troll miners in space. And yeah, it looks like once you pop that, the asteroids will go to phased out status again, and therefore you probably need to anchor another one. But it doesn't say what they're going to be used to make yet, which never mind. But here's all the different. So you got phased prismaticite, which it can only be mined while inside the moving fracture, and can only be efficiently harvested while phased by a mobile phase anchor. This asteroid come to a lower dimensions from somewhere beyond normal reach. It is naturally out of a phase with our space time. Really weird that this is something that they're adding, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna roll with it. Looks like Spuddermain a little bit, but a different color. So it looks like it can only be mined inside the moving fracture, and it can only be be efficiently harvested while phased. It looks like you may possibly be able to mine them, but at a much lower efficiency. That's interesting. So you might actually be able to get away with not mining them. You might be able to get away with mining them without a phase anchor. But by the looks of the wording here, because you've got to be careful how it's worded, efficiency is different to unable to obviously mine of your 3th. So you also got some new mining crystals. So you got the type A's, B, and C's, which if you are a miner, you know exactly which ones are best for, just strip mining it and to get as much out as fast as possible, but getting a lot of waste. I haven't seen any ore variations of these, but I'm wondering if all strip miners are going to be able to use these. If so, you're not going to have to worry about waste, which is fine. or if you are actually going to need a crystal to harvest it at all. Like, you need deep core mining to mine Macoxite rocks. You can't just mine it with a normal strip miner. But this is my issue. This is my issue here. So the part of the prismaticite can be refined into a random group of minerals, right? So you get, say, I don't know, 50,000 units. You refine it down, 100 units to refine. You refine it down, and you get a random bunch of minerals from it. It's not set every time. So you can either split stacks. You might be able to split stacks into 10,000 and get different materials each one. Or you might be able to just, you know, you might just want a lot of whatever it's going to offer. Or you get these formulas, these refining formulas. So these are composite reaction formulas, and basically you apply them. We'll scroll down in a minute because this is just obviously showing the price of the actual formula itself. And you can use a formula, adding materials to dictate what it refines into. So morphite, megasite, all your materials basically. So if you mine an absolute crap ton of this and you're short on Zydrine, you can just refine it all into Zydrine. It's nice to have a utilitarian sort of ore, but at the same time, I'm not sure that's what mining needs, to be honest. It's nice, you know, it's a nice little gimmicky niche sort of thing. I hope it works out better than I'm thinking it's going to. But if we go down here, so then once you use the formula, it goes into unrefined, say, megasite. And looking at this unrefined form of the mineral, it can be reprocessed into variable quantity of the base form of that mineral, which can be then used in a variety of industry jobs. So that's what it refines into. So then you then reprocess that as you normally would with any normal ore, and it will give you just that material. So then you got the compressed variation of here when you compress it in a thingy. So then you got phased prismaticite. That's when it's obviously you've activated one of those anchors and you can mine it. Now, where was it? So you got blueprints here on roughly on what these ships are going to need to make. So it looks like a Pioneer is going to be very cheap to make. 20,000 Mexilon and 320,000 Tritanium is pretty cheap. The blueprint's going to be pretty cheap, to be honest. And it goes further down here, going through all of this. The Odysseus, it looks like the Odysseus is going to need some other stuff because it's obviously a faction ship technically. And the Outrider blueprint, which is the T2. God, what's it called? T2 version of the Pioneer. That's it. Sorry, my bad. The Outrider blueprint is a T2 variation of the Pioneer. So obviously you need some more extra skills and some more extra T2 stuff to build said ship. Again, the Pioneer Consortium issue is going to need some more of those, but also because it's a faction ship, you're going to need some more extra spicy things. So you've got the mining crystals again. Now there was one that I wanted to look at. So oh, here we are. So look, so this is the reaction. These are the formulas on what you're going to need. So for example, if you want to make 100 unrefined megasite, you will need 100 compressed prismaticite and 1,000 atmospheric gases. So you're going to need a lot of atmospheric gases. So if I was you, I would buy up a lot of atmospheric gases by the looks of things. That is about to go through the roof. So buy a good chunk of that in Jita because it's going to be used in every formula for this material. So I'd buy it as soon as and see if you can turn a profit on it. Probably will be able to. The guys that do markets probably all over this by now, buying up a load of atmospheric gases. So get your chunk now in Jita or whatever trade hub you use and go from there. But I wanted to bring all this because this concerns me a little bit and how it's implemented. I imagine 100 unrefined isogen. I don't know what that reprocesses into yet because it doesn't say, it does say the actual where is it, unrefined isogen. It was just here, unrefined isogen. So it looks like, is that one unrefined isogen goes into 37 units of isogen itself. So if you have 100, that's 3,700 isogen from 100 units of that, which is actually pretty good. Is this going to be balanced? I don't know, but that just looks to me like numbers. Yeah, those just like numbers. There's no chance in hell that it's going to refine into morphite. Oh my god. That would be, if it was 11,400 morphite, that means morphite prices would crash. So that's just numbers on there. That's just identity numbers for it. So I am going to try this on the test server. I will obviously get back to you with my results. I am concerned about these formulas on how balanced they're going to be for flooding the market with certain materials. But again, I can see the positive of it where, you know, if you need X amount of a specific resource, you can just refine that stuff into it and to top up your lines that way. But I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. It was just a very quick one because there's a lot of interesting stuff. I am going to link this site on the underneath the video. Also, although you can see it, hoboleaks.space. I am going to link that below so you can have a browse through everything that's on here. This is updated every so often with stuff that's coming. So you got traits and local capital ships, stuff like that. So you can have a look of a lot of things on here. But I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I will update you with my findings once I've been on the test server tomorrow night, and I will let you know with a follow-up video. It'll be a very short follow-up video, but I do want to get a certain mining queen on and talking about this stuff once I've done my findings on the test server. I want to speak to the mining queen and see what her thoughts about this. So you guys will know who that is if you've watched the if you've watched the other video about the interview. But take care, guys. I will see you next time, which will more than likely be later on in this week. But have a good one, and yeah, look after yourself out there.